Welcome to episode number 111 of the BEBC BS Podcast. Are we done?
Yeah. Basketball is going to be very exciting this year.
Dude, look forward to it.
Just thank you to the players for coming by. Thanks to the coaches for arranging it and the booster clubs. Hot dog, baby.
We did have hot dogs.
Yeah.
They're the biggest hot dogs I think I've ever seen in my life.
I know. What brand was that? Was that like Costco volume?
I didn't open the package. I don't know, but they were big.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same size that Racetrack and Quick Trip sell on their thing. But
They were huge.
yeah,
Welcome to our new hot dog podcast.
Yeah.
We're talking about hot dogs.
Yeah.
Food. Let's do a food podcast.
Food, yeah.
We
Gastronomic. Jay came by and gave us some treats.
We
Goodness,
have
she
baking
was-
tips from Che. That'll be a
It was
new
a little
episode.
later than normal, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
you were getting worried.
I was a little worried. I was like, that's tradition, and if Che doesn't bring us our treats,
Yeah.
that just messes the karma up.
We're
that trash was
discombobulated.
good.
That trash was good. She probably has a better name for it than trash, but it
Chocolate covered nibblies.
checks nibblies.
Wow. Chocolate covered nibblies.
Game 111 in the annals of Allen Eagle football.
How do you spell that?
Not-
A-N-A.
I know where you're going. We're going to get enough of those bad words coming up here in a little bit.
Yeah.
The Allen Eagles in 1971 took on a team named Salina.
Ooh, the gauntlet, the juggernaut.
The Bobcats of Salina.
Oh,
Allen went into the game 0-2-2 on the year,
yeah, that year.
and they left 0-3-2. Salina beat them 30-6.
So what we're hearing is no matter how bad things are, they could be
They
worse.
could be
Oh,
worse.
my God, always. I met a man with no arms, and then I met a
But-
man with no arms and no legs.
The 111th victory in the annals
Yes.
of
Yes.
Allen Eagle football occurred in 1981. I don't know if it was home or away, but the Eagles played Lake Worth.
Wow, that's a long way
Wildcats?
over there.
I don't know what they are.
Oh.
They're the Eagles too, aren't they? Lake Worth?
Lake Worth?
Look that up. Lake Worth Eagles.
Yeah, look that up.
If I put Eagles
Stat
in there,
man.
it's going to give me what you want.
Lake
Lake
football.
Worth football. So they went into the game at 3-0. If you remember, they had beaten
Ooh, bullfrogs.
Bullfrog.
Yeah, that's close.
What? Are you serious?
Wow, that's
Wait. Did they have a name change? Because, high schools change
That's
names.
true.
It could have been one of those ecological type things where, we don't.
Snail darter.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. If we
Politically
open up a new high
incorrect to
school, we'll
call
call
them
it
the
the Snail
Bulldogs.
Darters, the Allen East Snail Darters.
So they went into the game 3-0. They had beaten Frisco, Red Oak, and Midlothian. And they exited at 4-0, beating Lake Worth 50-0.
Wow.
Those were the days, man.
Wasn't that awesome?
81.
That was worth that.
Let's hear it for 81.
I know it. I heard what you did there. 50-0. So there you go. Victory number 111 for the Allen Eagles in 1981. They continue their undefeated play that year. Well, speaking of undefeated, the Eagles are no longer undefeated in district. They took a 24-18 loss last night to Denton Guyer.
Disappointing, but they had a chance at the end, and that's what you want for the kids.
You
Give
do.
an opportunity.
You want the opportunity, and given how this game unfolded, if you would have told me at halftime you were going to have an opportunity to win it, I'd have taken it and run with it and been happy because
Yeah.
that first half for the Eagles,
Wasn't a high scoring contest like somebody thought.
no.
Well, let me relay it to a story back in college.
Oh, boy.
They used to do this amateur boxing
In the
night
30s?
where a lot of the fraternities and, all the other guys would get up and they'd be half drunk and they'd be like trying to box with each other. And it was, instead of a knockout, drag out brawl, they swing and miss and fall on his back and then the ref holds him back. And it kind of felt like that. There was a lot of
Swinging and missing?
swinging and missing, whiffs.
Yeah.
But, I tell you, our defense really stepped up, and the stats prove that out.
Defense lights out.
You got to give them credit. I did some some statistical analysis yesterday before the game.
Which is what you do. You're a
Which is-
numbers guy.
Which is kind of why my prediction, when I said, 34-28, I think is what I said. I believe that's correct. What I predicted. Guyer came into the game averaging 44 points a game. Okay? Allen came in averaging 36. So you look at that and you go, okay, this might be a high-scoring affair. And then you go look at the defense. Guyer was giving up 23 points a game. Allen was giving up 20.7. And in the last 4 games, they were averaging. Allen was only giving up 7.5 points a game. So, you figure what's going on here, what's going to give. I would have never guessed that game was going to be 7-0 at halftime.
No.
I don't think anybody would have done that.
No. And then we had a chance for some points. We had we kind of had a stalled drive. What was it, 20-something yard attempt, field goal attempt?
38-yarder.
It was kind of a nubber.
Yeah,
38-yarder. Yeah, it wasn't going to make it, but
it didn't. And I'm having a hard time. I'm still mad, and I've been mad since the third quarter last night. And
What could you possibly be mad about?
I don't know. We'll get into that. We will get into that.
we want to try and do it constructively and, well,
They need a bucket.
There's a lot of things that we're going to say, and I'm mad about a lot of things. I'll say that, and we'll talk about it. We've got to be careful what we question Coach Wig on, and I know people are criticized for it because people are criticizing the crap out of us right now. It's another thing I'm mad about, but we'll get into that as well too because I got a response to that.
You know, us podcast guys are just such a bunch of morons. You know, trying to equate our players to like professional players.
Yeah, Lone
Come on,
Star
guys.
JV 55. I'm calling you out, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to the point. Ding dong. Listen to the freaking podcast, moron.
Oh, hey, if you're an Allen fan, suck it up, Buttercup. This is what it was like before the 2008 state championship. You didn't know if you were going to have a 6-4 season. You didn't know if you were going to have 8-2 season. Support the kids. That's what this is about.
That's what we're about.
Yes.
And I think last night for me, I was telling Cody on the way home, or when we got home last night, this just shows me how much I like it. This is a passion for me, and I wanted those kids to win so bad last night.
Right.
And they had so many things going against them, and
here's
Guyer being part of that. Guyer
yeah.
was very good. I mean, we're not going to sit here and blame it all on our
their
guys.
defense shut the run down in the first half
They were
for
also
sure. I mean,
they were brutal too.
They were shooting to the edges. They had it locked up. We couldn't seem to go vertical, either run or pass. But
Yeah, there's just a lot to talk about. You know, we kind of joked earlier, James joked, well, we'll just announce this will be the shortest BEBC podcast ever, but
we need to get into it.
there's a lot to get into here in many different aspects of this game, between Allen's inability to do anything in the first half offensively, from Guyer being pretty much in the same boat, save
Right.
one play.
Yep.
You had two pretty evenly matched teams at the end of the day. I think you can
Very much so.
look at it and say, okay, Guyer was better here, Allen was better here. You know, and
Wait, whoa! I got to call you on that one, man. If the teams were so dang even, what was the difference in the game?
oh,
That's a teaser for later.
that can of worms is going to be open. You know, and
Well, I can't imagine. You know, you listeners, put on your thinking cap. Let's see, Allen 18, Guyer 24, refs 28. So refs won the game. Awesome.
there's just so much to dissect here, and again, you know, people just want us to come on here and just start bashing everybody,
And maybe be a mouthpiece for them.
and we're not. That's not us.
Not gonna do it.
You know, and all I can say to you, if that's what you want to do, start your own podcast.
Well, and the other thing is, we may have been tougher. We may have been tougher in the past on coaches and systems and administrators or whatever, but we're able to learn too. So get over yourselves. The past is the past. I think there was enough going both ways as far as lack of whatever, but we can get into that on a personal note. We're here. We're trying to lift people up. It's always better to lift people up than to knock them down.
Exactly.
Period.
Don't start your own podcast. If you're going to sit there and rip on minors, like if that's what makes you happy, bigger issues at play.
Much bigger. So you look at it positively. What positive came out of that? Defense played lights out.
Yep.
The lines, both sides, were giving it their all. And maybe a little bit too much. I don't know. Were they too hyped up at some point? There were only 5 penalties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Offense started to figure something out in the second half.
They did. The run started working.
Yep.
You know, we started getting more holes. I don't.
More
Was that
vertical
because
passing.
the offensive line started being effective against their D?
You know, it seems like we start wearing people down in the second half. Start to
Yep.
become a pattern.
But then you have things happen at just the wrong time, right? 5 penalties, but if they happen at just the wrong time,
Yep.
it can take all the wind out of your sails.
You know, and we'll dissect that more after we talk to Coach Wig here, and
Yes, sir.
See what his take on things were. We'll ask him a few questions about some situations that happened last night and what he got from an explanation point from this ref crew, and we'll talk about. We had a conversation with an anonymous source last night, which we will keep anonymous after the game, who gave us.
It's more just it's a very, very knowledgeable opinion.
Yes.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. And so, because we wanted to know, and you asked the people who have the answers, and
Yeah.
we got an answer, and so we'll talk about that here in a little bit
Yeah.
too. But
And it could be an indication of some other things that are more global than than just our game.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But the end of the day, it comes back to same situation as last year. You go into the Prosper game with a chance to be, because I'm giving them the win over Little Elm, final game of the season. I'm giving Little Elm has still not won a game.
We can look beyond
That is
certain
not true.
opponents.
Little Elm did beat McKinney Boyd this week, so they do have one district win. But I'm giving the Eagles the win over Little Elm, and so it comes down to you against Prosper, who's going
Right.
to be that top seed on the big school
Yeah.
side of the district. So,
Because when you look at it, Guyer's 4-1, we're 4-1,
yeah,
McKinney's 4-1. We got the tiebreaker with McKinney.
yep.
Guyer's got the tiebreaker with us.
Yeah.
What happens with Prosper?
Yeah, and McKinney and Guyer still play each other, and McKinney and Prosper still play each other.
Yeah.
So Guyer plays McKinney next week, and then the end of the season, Prosper and McKinney play. So there's a lot that still can happen amongst the top.
Right.
You take care of business next week, you
Take
can
care
be
of business.
district champion.
TCB.
And you can be the number one seed, get a home game. And we'll talk about that the 6-6A district, because that one,
That's
there's
interesting.
a lot going on over there, too, that could happen, and it could be very
It's like
favorable.
Keystone Cops over there.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing in this district too.
know.
With all the big schools, the 4 playoff teams I think are pretty much set. In fact, Allen clinched the playoff spot last week. I went back and looked.
Yeah.
Even if they had lost their remaining 3 games and ended up 4-3 in district, they had beaten the 4 teams that had a possibility of tying them, and so they were going to be in the playoffs no matter what.
Yeah.
The question is, what's their seed going to be? So we'll figure all that out. We'll talk about it. Again, to me, there's so much to dissect, and there's praise to be given, there's criticism to be taken, and that's just the way it is in every game. And I think if you talk to Coach, when they go, even as good as last week's victory over McKinney was, I'm sure he went in, reviewed the film, and said, "Guys, here's some things we could have done better."
Oh, always.
Even in your victories, there's-
Always.
and you certainly have in defeats. You certainly know there's things that can work on.
Well, absolutely. We've been around this world long enough to see it in practice.
Yeah.
When you have a failure, when you fall short, look for something to learn. That's that sweet seed of equivalent benefit, to quote Napoleon Hill, a great inspirational writer of the industrial age.
Let's go on.
I left Coach's games on my clipboard, which is somewhere else right now, but I think I can remember what they were.
Maybe we'll distract him and start out with that first and have him at us.
Penn State and Ohio State. No, shoot. It's time to call him, so I'll think about it while he's chatting.
Yeah. Well, assuming he picks up.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man. He's going to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't scared.
No.
He's a good guy.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Well, we've been better, but, that's life, right?
Yeah.
we have good days and we have bad days and we have in between days, and
Yeah.
we're probably feeling a lot like a lot of the boys today. Is we're heartbroken because
Yeah.
there was an opportunity last night to grab a game,
Yeah.
and it was everything that you told us last week kind of came to fruition. That was a good team y'all played last night.
Really good team. Yeah. Really, really good team. And they do defensively again. They're just really, really, really good schematically on that side of the ball, and offensively. They have a couple of playmakers that if they are able to get loose, they're tough, and that's exactly how it played out. They got a couple of big plays in the passing game, and their defense was just tough on us. Our offense all night long, special teams, they as well, and they're good. They're a good team.
Yeah.
Well, and that was, again, you look back and you analyze it, and we talked a minute ago about, even in the victories, there's things to, correct and do better. But the big play, like you said, you had 2 long pass plays for a touchdown, and you had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and other than that, when you break those down and you take them away, your defense played pretty well.
Oh yeah, played really. And that's in a game like that. It's boring football for the most part because you got 2 dominant defenses out there. Just making life tough on the offenses, and something like that, it's just going to be who has the breakdown first, and it's again the kids they just played their butts off all night long. So proud of the way they fought, competed, and battled, and all that. And just again, it's just sad they didn't find a way to pull it out there at the end, but did everything they needed to do to give themselves a chance. Where there's a lot of people that are gonna whine and moan and hang their heads and gripe at each other or do things throughout the game, and when you do that, you're going in life and football and whatever it is, you will give yourself a chance to be successful, and they gave themselves a chance, and that's ultimately what you want, is to do that, and then you hope that you take advantage of that chance, and again, they're gonna make you earn every second of it, and they made a big play when they needed to.
Yeah, they made a couple of them, and that's always heartbreaking. I think on the first touchdown pass, it seemed like there was a mix-up in coverage because you got a guy running free, and that typically does not happen.
Yeah.
And the second one, that sometimes you just got to step back and give the other team credit for making a good play. And Martin's a top-notch receiver, and he beat 2 guys, and the quarterback hit him, and there's not a whole lot you can do. Sometimes you just got to sit back and go, okay, they beat us on that one.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we're certainly not ever going to say that. We're going to say we gave him too long a throw. I mean, he had way too much time to get rid of that ball, and then we're going to say that our job is not to say this guy's better than me, beat me. My job is to say I'm better than him. He's not going to beat me. So, like you said, I mean, he's a really good ball and all that, but it's not something that we're comfortable conceding by any stretch of the imagination. But
I'm glad to hear that.
Again, it's we learn, we grow, we get better, and ultimately you have to tip your hat and say, ours is a good football team that came in and took the game.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to discuss the refs, but we'd like to get an explanation on the end of the third quarter. There was a third down play where y'all went quick.
Yeah.
Did y'all substitute on that play?
Substituted, but the was supposed to happen. I actually don't remember if we substituted or not. But what's supposed to happen if you substitute is the umpire stands over the ball, right?
Right.
So he stands over the ball until the other team. They were substituting, but no one stood over the ball. Therefore, if you if they're not stopping play, then it's live play, which is what they were doing.
Right.
And when you do that, there's more than 11 on the field. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Kind of similar to an inadvertent whistle. It happens. That's what it is. If they missed it, you got to call what it is.
If they didn't stop the play, which, like you said, they should have.
Yeah, it's not even stop the play. They stand above it.
Right.
The
Let it
stand
start.
there, and the center won't even let the center touch the ball.
So, what was their explanation for that?
Oops.
They only had 11 on the field.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Because I think everybody in that stadium saw at least 14 kids on that field.
Yeah.
That is unreal.
Anyway, so we won't talk about the refs.
Okay, well, no. We don't want you to talk about it, but we just wanted the explanation.
We can talk about them.
Yeah.
And we will.
And the other question I had was later in the fourth quarter. I think they had a third down play where their quarterback went back to pass, and he got absolutely
And he threw it backwards.
And he threw it backwards. Yeah. And how did they not mark the ball where it went out of bounds?
Yeah. I just thought it was a forward pass.
That was 10 yards behind where he was standing. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, we don't want you to comment. We were just trying to see what their explanations of that were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because the ball was at the 25. The quarterback dropped back, and the ball went out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, at least from my angle, pretty clear. But,
Okay. All right. Well, we just want to make sure we don't miss things.
Yeah.
And that's, again, we don't hear the explanations. That's why we're asking for clarification. So, okay. Well, much like last year, it comes down. I say it comes down. Next week's game is very critical for positioning in the playoffs.
Sure, right. And not that this is our prize is never this time of year. Our prize is to get to win it all. And that's what our kids focus on. That's what we talk about is to win a state championship. But much smaller prize than that is district championship. And if you win next week, you're district champions. Our district has it to where if there's a tie by record, it doesn't matter, 4-way tie, 5-way tie, 2-way tie, whatever, then everyone's called co-champs, and then you decide playing based on head-to-head or point differentials, right? So if everybody beats McKinney, which those two haven't played McKinney, but if everyone beat McKinney and then we beat Prosper, then us and Prosper and Guyer are all whatever in one, which means we're all 3 co-champs, and then you do positive points. You guys familiar with how that works?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. So our district is a 17-point differential, so Guyer is at +3 right now because they lost by 3 to Prosper, beat us by 6. Prosper is sitting at 3 and we're at a -6. So based off how Prosper and us, but regardless, if we beat Prosper by 1, then that puts Prosper at +2. So, so the way that would work is that, would all 3 be district champs. Guyer would be, it doesn't matter because they're small school, but they would be pulled out on points. And then you pull one out, you go back to head-to-head. So then in that scenario I described, we would be Prosper, so we go as big school 1 and they go as big school 2. So like you said, sum all that up. If you beat Prosper, you're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Okay. And doing everything you can.
And thank you for clarifying that for all of our listeners. They just sometimes it gets confusing and they don't understand.
It is. Yeah.
So
and you throw a wrinkle in with again McKinney. What can McKinney? And we have to beat Little. we have 2 games left, right?
Sure.
We don't just have 1. But McKinney beats somebody, then all of a sudden there's different scenarios, and McKinney can get in that mix, right? They have 1 loss. We have 1 loss. Guyer has 1 loss. Prosper's the only one that doesn't have any. So there's a whole bunch of scenarios that can occur. But regardless, tied records are district champs according to our district minutes, and then the points decide seeding.
Yeah, it's fun. We were talking about 6-6A and what a mess that is right now, trying to figure it out. And this district isn't much different, especially with all the big boys playing each other the last couple of weeks of the season. So
about all you feel pretty comfortable with in ours is the 4 that are in. That's between ours and theirs is,
Yeah.
I think theirs is still a lot more up in the air in that regard.
Yeah, that is true.
I think they scheduled it to maximize TV ratings late in the
Is
season.
that what it is? Hey, man,
That's
whatever,
right.
whatever it takes. Well,
Yeah.
Prosper's coming up, and that's no easy task as well.
No.
I'm very, personally, I feel very good because, you and I talked a little bit in the golf cart yesterday as we drove over about not knowing what to expect, from a score perspective last night. But your defense, again, the last 5 weeks has played lights out.
Right.
And,
They're in
and
sync. They're doing something right.
They're really playing well, and it gives me a lot of confidence as you go against a Prosper team that to me is not as prolific as they were
Last year,
last
for sure.
year and
Yeah.
the past couple years. New quarterback. Again, it's 8 games into the season, or 9 games, but it's a little bit different, but it's a lot the same with that team.
Yeah, and I haven't watched Prosper yet, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
I watched them again. The only game I saw was against Guyer, and they handled Guyer pretty well. They, which I'm just hoping that Guyer, is one of those teams that's continued to improve, and maybe they weren't quite as good then, but they did. They played really good against Guyer. So other than that game, it'll be interesting to finish up grading this morning's and get onto them. And what is who they are and what they do. Right? They're just going to be much like Guyer, and not schematically, but much like Guyer, and that they're going to be very well coached and what they do. Again, especially defensively, they're it's a great defensive scheme that they run. And what I love and respect so much about their defense is that they bring pressures from so many different areas, and it's overwhelming to an offense. And you say, there's so many teams that do that. You say, well, they're probably going to get us quite a few times, but we're going to get them. And the thing about Prosper is there's just no hole. They're just so sound that they're doing it, but then the puzzle is always put together nicely, right? That they're not vacating boys. They're not creating weaknesses. They're just a really, really sound defensive football team.
Well, that puts the challenge on you and the coaches to figure out a way to get through
That's
that.
right. The ball. That's right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. So we'll just hold you to that. I think you got something up your sleeve for these guys. So
Yeah, that's right.
it'd be nice to go beat them on their turf too. So
It would.
since what, 2 years ago they stormed the field after they beat
Yeah,
Alabama.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Super Bowl. So anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move on. And honestly, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you here. I left my clipboard in the house, so I had no idea how you did last week. So we'll just.
I think 3-0. 3-0.
Way to go.
Yeah, nice work. It's getting that time of year too, in college football where there's some really, really good matchups, and things are getting really just kind of like high school football. The matchups are good, and the implications are big. And this game that's kicking off here in an hour and a half, Penn State at Ohio State.
Yep. I've got to think, and I follow neither of those teams at all, but for whatever reason, I've got to think that Ohio State has more playmakers on the field, in games like that. I think that, it'd be hard to contain those guys the entire nights or entire morning, I guess, early afternoon. So I would think Ohio State will find a way to edge it out.
All right. A 6:30 start Central Time tonight in a game that I'm very interested in myself. You have Duke at Florida State. In a Duke defense that's only given up like 50 points all year long. They held Notre Dame to 14, and it's going to be very interesting.
It is going to be interesting. It's cool. I don't know who I heard say something earlier, but at some point, you had all these basketball schools, Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina, all these that I don't know, maybe were undefeated at 3-0 or something, but it was just it's kind of cool that throw the Georgetown Hoyas in there. If they'd have been 3-0 and had a football team going 3-0, it'd have been about the craziest thing I ever heard. But I will take Florida State over the basketball Blue Devils, even though I know they're playing some really good ball.
Yeah, they are. Well, and Florida State is too. I mean, by all means, that's a really good team. Last one here, and Got picked.
Added a good piece, like we talked earlier with that receiver. He's different.
Oh, Coleman.
Oh my gosh.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah,
Yeah, did you see that catch he made last week, the one-handed grab?
I did.
Oh, my gosh. I came off the couch and my wife said, "Why are you screaming?" I said, "Honey, watch this replay."
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Where was he? I know he's a portal guy. Where was he the year before?
Michigan State.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I get you going from smaller schools to bigger, but it's just weird. This portal world is weird.
It is, and it just shows you that when you get it somewhere that maybe has a better player around you, I'll just
More
say
complimentary,
yeah, you
coach
got a
and
better
player.
quarterback in
That's right.
Jordan Travis than you did at Michigan State. It brings out a lot in
Yeah.
Okay, he certainly wasn't the first person to move from Michigan to Florida.
That is true. That is true. Okay, last game, and this one, just because Bama is not playing Bama football to me. Tennessee goes into Alabama, and I didn't look it up, but they haven't been Alabama in so many years. But given that Bama's not playing that well,
Yeah, it's just as we know, it's just such a quarterback world, and I haven't watched Bama much, but I did watch them a little bit. I don't know when it was, and that I like their quarterback, but he just, he seems to miss some stuff that he's seeing and making, and you say all that, and then how much I love Tennessee's offense. We did a big study on them this offseason, and just schematically they're so good, and but with that said, I think that Alabama's going to find a way. I just think that that quarterback. When I saw him, just missing some things that I thought were really, really easy. You just convince yourself that the more reps he gets, he makes those because they're plenty good on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
So I think they'll find a way. I'm going to go with Bama.
Bama at home. Okay, Coach, we got you down for those three. All right, Prosper this week. It's an away game. We look forward to the Eagles getting back on the field, and good luck to you and the boys, and we'll see you there.
Well, thank you. And again, I just want to brag on how hard the kids fought. It's you forget, and maybe as a spectator or fan that it's what it is, but the number of tears shed, and it's cool, it's sad, it's all those things, but they put an awful lot into this, and there's they were, and you said it the very first, you just feel bad for them, and I do too. I mean, they were devastated, and it's what's so crazy is it's not the end of the world. That's what we say, guys. Everything that you want ahead of you is still ahead of you. So, but it means an awful lot to them, and I'm just sure proud of the way they fought. But anyway, appreciate you guys as always, and y'all have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you.
Coach.
Bye.
Bye.
There he goes, Wigington. I'm still mad.
Okay. So now that I've told you that we substituted, and James has told you that we substituted, and Coach has told you that we substituted,
But
do you believe?
He thought, but he didn't know.
He didn't know.
I don't think we substituted.
But either way, whether we substituted or not, it should have been a flag.
There were more than 11
Yes.
players on the field.
There were
By like 3.
and that explanation on the backward pass. Oh my God! They thought that was a forward pass. We're getting into the officials here, guys. Well, the first half was fine, but that came. It's like they transformed into a bunch of ding dongs coming out in the third quarter.
Yeah, and maybe this is one of the results of the official shortage, because Tasso is struggling to find enough, new blood to bring in, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to get maybe a rookie or a crew that hadn't worked together that much, and I think there's some fitness kind of guidelines that need to be implemented, because some of those guys were struggling just to get up and down the field, much less, keep their trousers up. It just makes it hard for them to concentrate on what they're supposed to be concentrating on.
So does Tasso assign these referees to the game?
You have
or
chapters.
Is there?
You got chapters, and the coaches have to mutually decide on a crew.
On a group?
On available crews. So you got these crews available. If you pick early, I guess you get more of a choice, but they can say, no, we don't want that crew. This guy says, we don't want that crew. If they agree on a crew, now we know. I'm not real happy with that crew.
I can promise you Wig will never choose that crew again.
Yeah.
Never choose. Now, we talked to somebody after the game
An anonymous person.
who was on the field all night long.
It's very knowledgeable.
Very
Would that
knowledgeable.
comply with the off-the-record comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was there.
How many people are on the field? There's 1,000 people down there.
Well, there were some coaches down there that were retired.
Who said, and he knows for a fact,
Yeah.
this was an inexperienced crew,
In
a rookie crew. He called
rookie
it. A
crew.
rookie crew in a big game.
Yep.
And I think you saw what you said, the inexperience clearly. The whole play where kids are running off the field and the line judge is standing there watching them run off the field as the play is being run and doesn't throw his flag.
Yep. And then the
And then he
explanation
says,
is,
there-
as Coach says, there were only 11 on the field.
We have video.
Throw call BS.
Yeah. We have video. There's video clearly out there that's going to show they had, my count was 14. They had 3 guys running off the field.
Yeah.
That should have been a flag.
Yeah, maybe you give credit to the one guy who was nearly on the sideline, but you got 2 guys 10 yards on the field.
Well, and again, they're in front of,
Yeah.
because he's standing on the sideline. He's not standing on the hash mark. He's standing on the sideline.
They're running towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you not see that?
Well, and they talked about it for like 8 minutes, like unironically, like
That was
a long
It
time.
had to be longer than that.
and couldn't figure it out.
And if we're doing that explanation just to say, well, we screwed up, no, it's like an inadvertent whistle. If the whistle blows, if something happens,
Yeah.
you got to go with what happened. They should have stood over the ball, like Coach said.
If they substituted, yes.
Yeah.
So
And they didn't.
So there were 2 errors. If there should have been a hold up for substitution,
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
screwed up twice on that play.
And now I
we
know-
know they screwed up once.
Yeah. Well, and I know from talking to different people that ref, and then other people who know, the ref's procedures and routines, that ref crew will critique themselves. It's just like the kids. The kids know what they've done wrong and what they've screwed up. They're as hard on themselves as any fan will ever be. So that's why the whole thing about the fans complaining, and saying, oh, well, this player does this player doesn't have this. You don't think he knows that? You don't think they know that? You don't think they know what to work on? And so what good are you doing by saying it out loud? Getting it off your chest? Great. Say that say that to your wife and have her blow you off. Say that to your friends. But keep the minors, like you said, out of it. And we're trying to be nice to the refs, but that was ugly.
It was. And the non-pass interference call on Moose in the end zone,
He's bumping him.
the ball was underthrown.
Right. And he's trying to come back.
Moose stopped, turned around, tried to come back, and the guy plows through him.
Yep. Doesn't
And-
even look for the ball.
And when Wig talked to that referee about that, Wig went up and chest bumped him and said he was doing this to him. The guy's like, no. Again, we have the video. And again, they can go back and look and he can say, okay, yeah, I missed that call.
Yeah.
But those are critical.
Well, and that was
That
pass
was,
interference.
that was another mistake call that I had, so.
That's what?
Pass interference in the end zone. There's probably not a more impactful.
Maybe we should start a fitness and weight loss fund.
Yeah.
So
They'd spend it on donuts.
So
when they stopped the game and Kim came down the sideline, what was all
the
that?
headsets weren't working.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I understood that. And again, you don't get an explanation from the refs, but we figured out what it was because we saw Lee going like this and headsets.
Yeah.
Because
And I think poor Jeff was like on the can or something.
Yeah, I think he was still underground. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
But And to the kid who sat behind us and was screaming, "Come on!" I'm like, "Dude, they don't have headsets." "I don't care." I just stared at him. I was just like, "Really?" So anyhow, we all agree the referee. Again, we're not going to blame the loss on the referees, but those plays impacted the game. Mm-hmm. We don't know how, because you never know how things are going to go after that. But that third down play, they ended up not getting it. It went to fourth down. It should have been a flag, would have been a 5-yard, would have been a first down. Allen would have kept the ball.
Yeah.
The pass interference call,
first down, another chance, a better chance, closer.
The backward pass, again, it changes field position 15 yards because that was a third down play. They ended up punting. But they would have been punting from their end zone rather than from the 50. Yeah. It changes things.
Yeah.
Now, does it change the outcome? Who knows?
You'll never know.
Yeah. You never know. But it does, and so that's our rant about the officials last night. I'm still mad because again, I hate incompetency, and it just every time something like that happened, it just made it worse for them.
Yeah. So you young kids, sign up. If you love football and you love getting it right, sign up. Go get into Tasso, train, get better. Come on. We're too old. We can't do that.
24-18, Allen loses to Guyer. Run through some stats here. First down, I just read these this morning and wanted to barf. First downs, Allen 20, Guyer 10. 10.
10.
They
First
had
down.
10, no, not in a helmet.
How much rushing?
Minus 5 yards rushing for the Guyer
whole game.
Yep.
The whole game.
Minus 5. They had 22 rushing attempts, 5 yards. Now, that does take sack yardage into consideration. And
Heck
again,
yeah. Go
Tanks, Zena. Zena was he
Zena was
wore out
on fire.
66.
Hey, did you see
in
how
fuego.
when he sacked? I forget who it was. He crawled all the
That
top
was
and
Zena.
kicked him in the head and everything else.
Well, he was trying to get off of it.
Well, I understand.
In a very aggressive way.
Yeah.
350 total yards of offense for the Eagles. 79 at halftime. I think that's, where's my phone? I took a picture of the stats at halftime. I think they found something in the second half that was working better. And we'll get into why things didn't work out here in a bit. 89 yards at halftime. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the second half was much better. Guyer only had 100 yards at halftime, ended up with 226, 231 passing yards. Both quarterbacks were inefficient last night. Brady was,
right around 50%.
Yeah. Brady was 16 of 32. Their quarterback was 15 of 28. The difference was they had 2 long passes for touchdowns.
Yeah.
And a kick return.
When that one long pass where we had 2 covering him, I mean, once the guy got a little bit of separation, he just extends his arm back behind him, and it's like, is he pushing off? No, he's kind of just keeping him at arm's length.
Yeah.
Caught the ball. Done.
Boy, one thing would have made a difference is on that kickoff. Instead of doing an onside kick, they pooched it. and we almost got to that ball.
Almost.
I mean, geez, that would have been a big time.
Well, in the big plays, we kicked off and they ran it back for a touchdown. That's
We'll get into that in a minute
That's tough.
too, because
That's tough.
I was just seeing it. Brady had 2 interceptions last night on. I go back to what Coach said last week about that offense runs through the quarterback, and it's about decisions. And he made 2 poor decisions. First one really was a poor decision because the guy was undercut.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he threw the ball to him because he wasn't open. Second one, when you throw an out to the sideline, a long out to the sideline, you got to get it there. And he was late.
right.
And
But it looked like that was his first read, and he was telegraphing it. And of course, the free safety's going to come over and jump the route.
So, yes, Bricker is not Peyton Manning, as someone accused us of saying that we say
bro.
he is. And again, I say go listen to the podcast because if you go back, and I don't know which game it was, I specifically remember saying this team is going to either have to, or not either, I said it's going to have better quarterback play and better wide receiver play, or both, to move anywhere. And so I don't know where someone gets off saying that we think he's Peyton Manning, because we've never said that about him.
No.
And again, our job here, and guys, we're not going to sit down and beat up these teenagers for mistakes that they make. They know they made mistakes.
Because
they
he
feel
made
bad about
some
it.
really good calls, too.
He made some great decisions during the night, and he made some bad decisions. But you know what? We all do that in life.
Ding, ding.
Hello. And
I remember distinctly week after week saying he's improved this week. He's done
Yeah.
better this week.
yeah.
You know,
And last night he was playing a very good defensive team that made him pay for some bad decisions.
Well, and he was running for his life for a lot of the night.
Couple
too.
times.
We'll get into that as well, because
You promise?
another thing I'm mad about. I've got a whole list. Allen ended up with 170 yards rushing. Again,
Pretty even. 170 yards rushing, 180 yards passing.
yeah, it was balanced. Again, you wish you had more completions. Again, we only had 59 yards at halftime, so they fit that. We'll get to the penalties. Only 5, but some of them were killers.
yes,
Yeah.
And the first penalty of the night
All
was on
stars.
Drew King.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Drew King was getting double team blocked on a play way
Well,
downfield,
Anticipating. Yeah.
and evidently got a face mask for pulling. And I saw the guy go down. I thought the penalty was on them for blocking after the.
Yeah.
Again, we were a long way away from that play, but evidently he got the guy's face mask and pulled him down, because I saw the guy fall down.
Oops.
That penalty did not hurt, but there were 2, and they called them false starts, but we had a player's parent come to our tailgate yesterday. Y'all need to talk more about the offensive line. So we will. Right here, right now. One of the biggest problems I saw last night, especially in the first half, was, and again, we love the kids, but the facts are they could not block the nose tackle last night.
Right.
52 or 90, beat the offensive line, center, guard, whoever, all night long.
Yeah.
And what it did was they pushed him right back into the quarterback. And when your quarterback, and any NFL quarterback will tell you this, the place they hate pressure the most is right at the middle. Because what that does is it forces you to roll left or right, which immediately takes out half the field
Right.
for whatever you're trying to do. Now, if you happen to roll to the side that the play is meant to go on, great. But if you've got to roll the other way, you've got no receivers out there.
Right.
You're hosed.
Unless you're Kyler Murray, but that's not going to happen.
That ain't going to happen in this case.
I think I heard Peyton Manning complaining about that once.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But the offensive line, while it had its moments last night, and it had a great game last week, and we said that.
Yeah.
We flat out said they controlled the line of scrimmage last week.
And they wore him out a little bit in the third quarter because we started to see those runs play out.
But they still could not pass protect worth a darn last night.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Brady. People, and again, it makes it difficult to be able to be accurate and to be able to set and throw when you're running for your life.
Yeah.
And he had to run for his life quite a bit last night.
Yeah.
So, yes, the offensive line had a great game against McKinney. I would grade them much less last night.
Yeah.
and it showed. And again, McKinney's got a great defense.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to Coach McCray yesterday before the game, and number seven Pettijohn, that linebacker,
Yeah.
was a brute last week, and he said we couldn't block him. He flashed every other play.
Well, I suspect he'd say the same thing you just said about the nose tackles.
It's clearly evident they could not hold up.
Well, and they were
guys.
coming over the top.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a field goal, you know, and you're jumping over the center type thing.
Well, and I talked to Coach McCray before the game yesterday, and he was explaining they run the Iowa State defense, and you know they only use 3 down linemen, but they're always going to bring 4 or 5.
You just don't know where.
You don't know who's coming, and so you can think, okay, this play is going to work, but it may be right into where someone's coming.
Right.
You know, it works great if they're not coming, but if they're coming, that hole, that gap,
Right.
that block that you didn't think you were going to have to make has to be made, and it changes the whole dynamic of the game. And you saw that all night long. Guyer did a great job, coming from different angles, different people. And Bricker was running for his life. The first half, the offense couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, and so let's talk about the coaches too. A lot of the plays that were called are going east-west.
Yep.
And we were saying it. Other people were saying it. If there's any way to get upfield a little bit, quick dump passes, whatever it is, you would hope that that's possible.
Yep.
Now, whether the coaches can figure something out or there's a reason why that wouldn't have worked, whatever it is, it's frustrating watching the ball go sideways and not be able to get around the corner, because that is to Guyer's defense. They were that good at shutting off the corners.
Yep.
They would have those 4 linebackers. One of them was always shooting to the corner to take the guy out. Whether it's a bubble screen or whether it was a jet sweep or whatever it was, they kind of had it shut down.
We seem to be a little allergic to just 5 to 10 yard passes over the middle. Your short crossing.
And they were they were playing a lot of man coverage and bringing the extra guy on the rush, and it was effective. It worked.
It was a tough night offensively. There's no doubt. And that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. And it's happened a couple times this year,
Right.
and even in some of the.
Well, yeah, and what do you learn from it? Well, I'm curious to see, because I do think there's a lot of look. Bricker's a junior.
Yep.
He's got 8 starts under his belt. That's it.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of kids that are going to go on to play football in college? Very low.
Yeah. It's really low.
2%.
So don't dump on the kids. They're trying to do the best they can.
Yeah. If any of you morons think the kids aren't trying, and I'm just saying that because it's they act like the kids do things on purpose.
Yeah.
Bricker didn't want to throw 2 interceptions last night. Those kids up front didn't want to miss a block. The receivers didn't want to drop a ball. Whoever committed a penalty didn't want to do it. Yeah. It happens, and it's part of this thing called football. And it's
high school football.
And it's hard when you're passionate. I get it as a fan.
Yeah, we try not to be apologists, but we're realists.
Yeah.
This is reality.
It's all of us in this room are disappointed this morning.
Yeah.
We're very disappointed.
People forget what it is. Maybe they weren't around before 2008.
Yeah.
There was a lot of frustration to be had out there, but
well,
didn't do any good.
We'll go through this quickly. The first half, there wasn't a whole lot, and I went through and counted a minute ago. Guyer had all night long, they had, they ran 28, 50 plays. 14 of them went for negative yardage. So defense did their job.
Yeah.
Outside of, again, you had 2 plays. They get the ball first. They run 6 plays, get 1 first down. They have to punt. Allen gets the ball, goes 65 yards. Again, we talked about decision making. There was a decision Brady made to keep the ball on one play, and he got down to the 10-yard line. He lost 10 yards on a sack.
Well, and there was that one 4th down play, and he almost broke loose. But, yeah, it just...
We end up missing a field goal there, 38-yarder. I couldn't tell. Was it left,
I couldn't
right,
tell
short?
if it was kind of a clubber to the right. I couldn't tell if somebody got a hand on it or if it was just a
Wasn't
bad.
that one that he could get cut loose is when they had his jersey and pulled him backwards?
Well, yeah, that one. We'll get to that one. But yeah, the field goal.
Guyer gets the ball, 7 plays. They get 1 first down. They end up punting. They only go 21 yards. Again, defense plays. Allen gets the ball, gets a first down, has to punt. Guyer gets the ball back. First quarter still, 5
It's
plays,
like that
0
tennis
yards.
match where it's rally.
Punt. End of the first quarter, which went by very quickly. The first half went by quickly. The second half took forever. Allen gets the ball, 6 plays, punt. Guyer gets the ball. They go for it at 4th and 5 on the Allen 38. It's incomplete, so turnover on downs. Allen gets the ball, actually goes for it. They have 4th and 1 at their own 47, and Brady loses 3 yards. And then on the next series is when there was a blown coverage, and they score on the 45-yard pass to Martin, who was their player. Makes it 7-0, and you go to half 7-0. Again, there's punt, and a couple 4th down misses. Go to halftime. You come out and you think, okay, you're only down 7-0. You've had a really bad first half. What can you do? Caleb returns the kickoff 18 yards. They start at the 23. You have an incomplete pass, a 5-yard penalty against the Wildcats, and then Brady throws his first interception, which is brutal. And they return it down to the 23. They lose 2 yards on first down. They have 2 incomplete passes, and then you have a blocked field goal. LeBron Bauer breaks in and blocks the field goal.
That was pretty epic. That was great.
You get the
And the
ball
team
back.
mobbed him and
They did. You think a
threw him down
momentum
on the
shift happened
sidelines.
here. They get down to the Guyer 43, and they lose 17 yards on 4th down. Again, Brady didn't have time to do jack. Guyer drives down. They kick a field goal. They're up 10-0. You're like, well, this is just where are we going to go from here? Allen gets the ball, goes 14 plays, 74 yards, scores a touchdown. Yay. Mekhi Ellis goes 12 yards. And from where we were sitting, I don't know if you saw it, but Nolan and I certainly saw it was going to the left, and then you just saw it open up.
Yeah.
And you could see the hole. Mekhi put his foot in the ground, and boom, went right through. It was a 12-yard touchdown. It's into 7. You're like, okay, back in this thing. But
then
then on the next play, we get a 5-yard penalty. The play after the kickoff, and then Martin beats 2 guys for a touchdown, 70 yards at 17-7. We get to the 4th quarter, and this is where things go completely bonkers. You have all this jack going on with the referees and officials. Allen's unable to do anything. Guyer gets the ball back, can't go anywhere. We go 11 plays, 68 yards, get a field goal, make it 17-10. And we talk about crucial penalties. On the extra point, there's a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't even know who it was on and what happened. I didn't see it, which pushes the ball back to the 25-yard line to kick off. And Bowman's been good about getting into the end zone. He had a rough night last night. He kicked one out of bounds and was short on others, and they kick it short because you can.
And when the guy that's receiving the kick has that much of a window to find his lane, he was gone to the house.
24, he goes 77 yards. Eli Bowen, who was their best return man and best defensive back, returns it. It's 24-10. You got 5 minutes left. Allen gets the ball. They go 8 plays, 78 yards, in just a little under a minute.
Everybody's up.
45-yard pass to Moose. Gets it down to the 25-yard line. McDowell for 11. Brady rushes for 13, down to the 1 yard line, and then Amir takes it in, and it's 24. I start to say 17, but playing for the win.
They go for 2.
They go for 2, which we're like, what are you doing? A little flare pass to Caleb Smith, who takes it in. So
Takes it around the corner.
18.
Yep. Things are going well.
Allen kicks off. They get 3 yards. They have to punt. We get the ball at the 45-yard line. We get it down to the 11-yard line. First and 10 at the 11. Mackay loses 2 yards on first down. And then what I think was the second penalty tonight on the center for
just moving the ball inappropriately or whatever.
sounds like something really bad.
Well, that back judge,
Yeah.
and that was after all the controversy. Back judge should have just kept his mouth shut and his hand by his side.
A penalty, and he did. He fake hikes the ball and he moves it, and he got caught, and it put him back to the 16-yard line. So you have 2 plays to get 16 yards.
Well, I don't know if he fake hiked it, but he moved it
He moved it
inappropriately, and that's what they called.
Brian,
It's the one penalty they saw consistently all night.
Yeah, well, he got caught twice for it. So, 3rd and 17 at the 18, and Brady throws an out that's intercepted, and they return it 64 yards, and game's over. So, Allen takes it on the chin. A game that was there to win. It's just tough sometimes. Sometimes you have heartbreakers like that, and that was a heartbreaker for everybody. You look at district standings last night. Last night you had Prosper beat. Where did you go? I had it written down. I wrote everything down. There.
Come on, man.
There it is. Too many papers. Prosper beat Braswell 38-21 to remain undefeated at
5-0.
5-0. McKinney struggled with Rock Hill.
They did.
They were behind most of that game. They scored last to win 26-22 to go to 4-1. Guyer's 4-1. Allen's 4-1. Little Elm got their first district win over Boyd 38-20 on Thursday night.
Way to go, Little Elm.
So you look at the district now. You got Prosper at 5-0. Everybody else is 4-1.
Yeah.
So.
And so next week, a lot of big games next week. Guyer plays McKinney at home. Allen plays Prosper away.
Yep.
So we're going to be traveling next week, and maybe that's a good thing. You know, you don't want to play in your house. You just go away, let's kick their butts. McKinney's at Guyer, and that's an away game for McKinney. And then Prosper's at home, against us. So it's good.
Those are your 4 playoff teams. They've already, the playoff spots are clinched.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And we're not going to worry about the other teams, but yeah.
Yeah. They play who they play.
Yeah.
And so when you go back to the District 6A, which is what people started talking about because that's who you're going to play.
Well, tell them who's in there.
Coppell will probably win district. They're 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
They're undefeated on the season. Louisville sits at 4-1. Plano East is at 3-2, and Marcus is at 3-2.
Yeah.
Now the kicker in all this will be Hebron because Hebron beat Plano East earlier in the year.
Yeah, but they got destroyed last night. So.
They did, and when you look at this, people keep saying we're going to play Coppell. If Plano East makes the playoffs, there's a possibility it will kick Coppell down to D2. Because if the 4 schools that are currently, if you were to stop today, it would be Coppell and Marcus at D2 and Louisville and Plano East in D1. But
if we take our district
right now
in the big schools, then we would play Plano East.
Well, we played Louisville right now.
If they make it. Okay.
Yeah, right. If you started today, you would play Louisville, and Plano East would play Prosper. Okay.
Right. But if we beat Prosper is what I'm saying.
Prosper, you could have a chance to play Plano East. Or it could be Louisville because Plano East and Louisville play next week. And that could tie them in a different.
Lots of big games all around.
Yeah. What you don't want to happen, if you ask me, is you don't want Plano East not to make the playoffs. Because that would kick Hebron in.
Yeah.
And then
that would keep Diggs from jumping off the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you would have Coppell and Louisville as your D1 schools.
Nice.
So there's a lot to be said what's going on there. In that district, Louisville plays Plano East and then Hebron. Plano East has Louisville and Marcus, which will be a good game. And obviously Marcus
Yeah,
plays
because
Plano.
Marcus spanked Plano. Plano was up for a
Marcus
while.
plays Plano this week.
Oh, okay, no, it was Flower Mound that
Yeah.
was struggling against
Louisville
Plano, and then
beat
they
Marcus
win.
in the Battle of the Axe last night.
Oh, there you go.
14-3. But Marcus has Plano and Plano East, and then Hebron has Plano West. They should win, but they end the season with Louisville. So really, you need Plano East to, win one of their last two games.
At least.
Yeah. To get in, they need to win one of the last two, and Louisville and Marcus. A lot will come out of that. So that's still really undetermined what's going to happen there. So,
High school football in Texas.
isn't it wonderful?
It is. Wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm still mad. I'm going to be mad all day. I can tell. What time's Texas play?
No idea.
3 o'clock.
Now he's even more mad. You don't know.
No, I got till 3 o'clock, then I'll start getting over it. So anyhow.
Now I heard they're working that game today. That same crew.
Oh, jeez. Wouldn't that be something? Those guys. So, Prosper next week, 7 o'clock at Prosper. Huge game.
Come out. Go to the game.
An opportunity for, like Coach said, everything they want is still in front of them.
It's theirs to take. If
Theirs
they,
to
if
take.
they
They
want.
just have to take it.
Yeah.
So, we will see. Great time with the basketball team.
Yeah. So just in case
Yesterday.
anybody was asleep or whatever, basketball team came out, tailgated with us. The coaches,
And-
the
Yeah, not only varsity, but we had JV,
Oh, freshmen, yeah.
and some of the girls' basketball team came
That's
as
right.
well.
Yep.
Great time with those guys yesterday. Want to plug Fan Jam next Saturday from 2 to 4. A lot going
Does that
on.
go on
there.
toast?
2 to 4.
Fan Jam.
Third and toe jam.
There will be a 3-point shooting contest. There will be a
Embarrass the old people contest.
slam dunk competition.
Ooh.
And
Who's judging that?
well, Tyson Chandler, former of the Mavericks, former of the Phoenix Suns,
Yep.
will be one of the judges.
Awesome.
Matt Russell will be judging that.
High school principal.
Yeah. Bane Brooks will be judging. They're trying to get Bane, and yours truly
Awesome.
will be one of the judges for that. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with those guys. That'll be fun.
Using your cardboard numbers.
That's right. So come out
And
yeah, looking up at all those guys. Exactly. So that'll be fun.
Bane will be.
Well, and
I want Olin Carter will be. There's 5 judges. Olin
All right.
Carter will be there. So
OC3.
that'll be cool. We'll sit down and have some fun with those guys.
Yeah,
Come
meet
out.
the players. We got great players. As Sip was saying, the camaraderie and the friendship that those players have developed is something that's kind of special.
Yeah.
He's seeing it, and if he's seeing it, it's going to be encouraging.
And
We've
I
got a
will-
lot of tall players too,
I will tell you right now, that team's going to be very good. Mm-hmm. Very, very good.
and have
Now,
a lot of fun.
They are going to play a very, very tough pre-district schedule. I mean, like top 10 teams in the state.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the tournaments always see some
they
really tough
start with
competition.
Plano East, who's ranked number 2 in the state, probably.
Ooh, there you go.
And then they're going to play. Oh, who was it? He told me yesterday. They're going to play over in the Piney Woods in Lufkin on the 21st of November
Really?
against the number 3 team in the state. And I can't remember who it was right now. Oh, he told me. I can't remember.
Was it
Shame
the
on me.
Pine Tar Classic?
No, it's something Piney Woods Classic or
Oh
something.
yeah, the Oil Derrick Classic.
But they are going to play a very high quality schedule. In fact, they're going to play a private school in an exhibition game as well too. So
Where's
he's-
that going to be? You know, at our place.
No, I don't know off the top of my head. I need to get. I'll know more after next
Hey,
week.
we're a basketball school,
So
you got to.
there's a lot going on with the basketball team, but it's going to be a really good team, and they should make a pretty good run in the playoffs this year. So come on out and see them. Their season starts here in a couple weeks. But again, great time with Sip and Manning and Olchek for a little while yesterday.
And thanks to the Booster Club too.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, the Basketball Booster Club, hosted that. I say we hosted. They provided all the food and everything. It was
Yep.
great to meet with those guys. So, all right, next Friday night, 7 o'clock, Prosper. Let's be loud, be proud, be there.
right?
Anything else, fellas?
No, I'm just thinking about where we're going to eat.
Yeah.
Next Friday. We got to figure that out.
If you're interested in the hot dog podcast, let us know.
Yeah, we'll get back.
Fire
on
that up.
Yeah, hot links, brats.
Yeah.
We'll cover it all.
Anyhow,
If it's shoved in a tube,
yeah, we'll eat it. All right. Thanks for listening. We appreciate all y'all.
Hang in there.
Appreciate your comments and feedback, even if
Have
you
faith.
disagree with it.
Have faith.
Yeah, we'll get there. And so until next week, guys, it's over and we are out. Peace.